What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So today I will be featuring the deck profile of my boy Maximilian Kraft, who managed to top 64 the German nationals, which I think are literally known to be some of the hardest nationals out there because the German players are insane. They're like some of the best in Europe. I know the second biggest demographic of people who watch my videos on YouTube are the Germans. Obviously the United States, the Americans are the number ones. And I think after that we have people from the UK and Canada. So yeah, and then Italy, obviously. But yeah, the Germans are huge, man. And even France is actually getting like up there, with Italy being probably the best, the three best countries in Europe for competitive gameplay. So 1,884 player event, and he managed to go 9-2 in the Swiss rounds. So nicely done, my boy Max. Congratulations. Must be nice with topping with a deck that I really don't understand how it works. I think a lot of your opponents probably had to read a lot of the cards because I know what the end board does. I know it's a lot of negates, and I know you can do it with just one card. I just don't really know the steps in order to get there. But yeah, very nice deck list, and I will obviously explain the ratios and cards for everything. But before we start, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And again, huge shoutouts to Maximilian Kraft for topping with this deck list, and now let's jump right into it. Alright, so for starters, literally, we're playing a 3 Gem Knight Garnet, but instead of being bad, it's actually good. Can't believe a level 1 monster with 0 attack and no effect is actually unfair in 2022. Wow, you drew the 0 attack monster, you're so lucky. Imagine, man. Imagine when you're actually trying to search a card that does nothing. Yeah, so... yeah, 3 of the Genius Loki with 3 Unexpected Die, double Painful Decision, but also 3 Small World, and I will be explaining this card a little more in detail soon enough. But Small World is actually very insane in this deck because you have a lot of starters and bridges, and that's a big thing about the hand traps that our boy Max decided to use. So Droll and Logbird being a level 1 monster with 0 attack means that you can have a lot of options. You can, I think, banish the Droll to search, well, to have Ash as your bridge, and then get the Aquamancer to your hand. So you can do that, or kind of do the opposite. So Aquamancer into like Ash, into like Genius Loki or something like that, whatever. The world is your oyster, a lot of possibilities. But basically, if you have Small World with a hand trap, usually you can get to your 1-card starter play. So yeah, a lot of consistency cards here. And also, you're playing a lot of different engines. So even if you get hit by, let's say, D-Barrier or whatever, well, D-Barrier wouldn't do anything because you only link summon. But let's just say you get hit by Artifact Scythe. You can still kind of do stuff because you have Regulus and you have the Brave token cards. But yeah, after that, we have the Sunsea Twin, which is part of the combo, just a one-of though. I think it revives back your Genius Loki or something. And then the Aromage L'Oreal, it makes you gain life points, which I think triggers the effect of the Link one, as well as the effect of Jasmine to search a planned monster from your deck. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the card does. And on top of that, you can special summon the card from the hand when you have more life points than your opponents. So that's actually pretty nice. And then the Rose Girl, this not only is a level 3 tuner, so that in your follow-up turn, you can actually quick sync with whatever you have on the board. So if you had a level 7 monster on the field that you didn't really need to use, for example, the Griffin Rider, you can make a Baron, or if you have a level 4, well, you can make whatever, you can make the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. I don't think it really had to come up that often, but it's a card that you kind of get to recur very easily, so you might as well, and it's part of the combo anyways. So that's it for the engine of the Sunnavalon cards. Only 6 monsters. That's really microscopic and minimalistic, and that's what I really like about these kind of decks and these kind of cards, whatever. The fact that you don't have to commit that many cards to it, but it really is super impressive, and it makes a lot of negates just like that. Anyways, triple Aquamancer with 1 Griffin. That's kind of standard. Only 2 Lily Boran instead of 3. I really like that. I think you could maybe get away with only playing 1, but I don't know how logical it is. He's also only playing 1 of the field spell, which I also like because you don't want to break on like too many of the Theron cards. And of course, 1 Regulus, so this definitely looks very streamlined. And then for the hand traps, only triple Ash and triple Droll. Again, Droll is probably the best hand trap against this deck, and that's the reason why Max decided to play Crossout Designator to counter the Droll, because you have to play the hand trap that you want to counter the most. So if he was really scared of Nibiru, he would probably be main decking 1 Nibiru, but he's like kind of really scared about Droll, so that's the reason why it's there. And the Crossout Designator making it so that the one-ofs are no longer really random. So Anti-Spell also being counterable with Droll, with Crossout Designator. Dark Ruler no more as well, so post game 1, when you go first, you side in 1 Anti-Spell, and when you go second, you side in 1, when you go first, you side in 1 Dark Ruler, and going second, you side in 1 Anti-Spell. It's like the world upside down because people would usually do the opposite, but because of, again, the fact that you're you're scared of these cards, you want to be able to counter them with a 3 of, and you can dig into Crossout Designator with Pot of Prosperity. So if you go like straight up main phase 1, Prosperity for 6 or for 3, whatever, Crossout Designator, and then you get on resolution Droll. You can go Crossout, call the Droll, and unless your opponent has another copy of Droll, which usually will not be the case. Don't worry, you're probably gonna be good at the game. You can full combo uninterrupted because the other hand traps are not like that good against this deck. 19 monsters in a 46 card main deck. And then this is where the deck list becomes relatively simple. So 1 Therion Field Spell, obviously triple Red of Aramnesia, 1 Fateful Adventure, 1 Draco Back Equip Spell, triple cross out, 1 Sunvine Shrine, and Sunvine Showing. So I think this summons the Sunseed monster from her deck, which is, I think, always going to be the Sunseed Twin. That's how you do the combo. And it has another effect. I think in the graveyard, you can protect your plant link monsters. The Shrine, honestly, I forgot what it does. I don't think this is a card I always see. Maybe I do, actually. And I think I've seen also people play other cards with the Sunvine, whatever. So this is really on the minimal amount of cards that you really need to make this deck work. Anyways, again, the triple Unexpected, double Painful Decision, triple Small World, 1 Call by the Grave, triple Forbidden Droplet, triple Prosperity, and the Sunnavalon Bloom, which is searchable. I think this card is kind of like the Dark Ruler No More of the deck, and I do not think he's playing the pop, so he's not making that many negates, but the cool thing about this is that he's also playing way less bricks, so the ceiling level is a little lower, but the consistency is much higher, and that's exactly what you ask for in a really long event like a Nationals or a YCS, so consistency is really, really important. Alright, for the extra deck now, we are on 3 Sunnavalon Dryas. This is the starter, of course, so you turn your Genius Loki into this, and this is what makes you snowball into so much. I think you usually surge the sowing, goddamn, and then you get 2 pop off from there. Double Healer, double Thrasher, like Photon Thrasher, there you go. Double Jasmine, double Melias, 1 Bangmelgar the Resurgent. Both effects are hard once per turns, and you can only choose 1 effect per turn, so it's either a compose, and then you take damage equal to the monster that you composed from your opponent's board into the hand, or it's like a Monster Reborn from the graveyard, which is actually really nice, and it has like 2500 attack, so very cool card. A great follow-up in the late game. And then Sunnavalon Dryan, what the frick is this? Yes, it's pretty nice. It searches a Sunnavalon spell or trap from your deck to your hand as well. I think this card is what gets you the bloom at the very end, but I could be wrong. Alright, and then for the 2 Synchro monsters, Black Rose, Moonlit Dragon, and Baron de Fleur. A real side deck for once, because this is not my own deck list, so it's not an idea section, but an actual side deck that was utilized to destroy people in 4K. So 1 Pankratops, great card. I'm actually really glad that people are finally back to playing Pankratops, because it's like one of the best one-ofs in the entire game. I feel like it should always be there. If you're playing like a third of a card that's not even that good, you might as well just cut the 3rd copy and then play 1 Pankratops, because it covers so much ground. It's usually always good. It's a 1-for-2 trade. You might as well. Alright, and then 1 Rose Whip. This card, combined with Therion King Regulus, is a soft lock when you get to pop off going first, because your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap card per turn, and Regulus does not negate the activation, it only negates the effect, so the activation is deemed as successful, but the effect isn't. So in other words, your opponent can't even attempt to use another spell or trap card if you negate it with Regulus. And therefore, you kind of just win the game if you have Rose Whip and Regulus, because your opponent only has monster effects to play with. You get to have so many monster negates with like Bloom and your other stuff. So 1 anti-spell because of a cross out, triple Appointer of the Red Lotus. Another way you can make your opponent lose Dark Ruler No More. So you shotgun this on standby usually, and you get the knowledge so you can use your interruptions better, which is very, very, very good. 1 Red Reboot, again, another one of those unfair one-ofs that I feel like you always have to play. When you get to kill your opponent with 1 single card, which is a vanilla monster, by the way, 0 attack, quote-unquote 10 billion. I feel like you have to play Red Reboot. Anyways, triple evenly, not trying to lose to Lord of the Heavenly Prison, and Lancia is not really popular anymore. Either way, I don't think this deck would like scoop to Lancia anyways. I think it really does a lot under it. Yeah, no, it's really not like that would be a problem. So yeah, trap decks cannot really protect themselves from evenly that well, so Eldritch is not in a in the best position it's ever been, because if you want to counter cards like Duster or Lightning Storm, you're gonna have to play Lord of the Heavenly Prison, which Twin Twister obviously can't do anything about, but evenly can, so yeah. And speaking of the devil, triple Twin Twisters, so 6 cards for back row decks, but in a 46 card deck, so you will see them a little less often, but not that drastically. And again, you can prosperity for them, so this deck is still very consistent. And you can deck thin a lot and then go for prosperity. So that's something that you can definitely do when your opponent doesn't have like preemptive floodgates to stop you from playing, and you can afford to like get into your back row board breaking cards at kind of like the mid combo or end combo. That actually makes no sense, but whatever, you understand what I'm trying to say. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, again, huge shoutouts to Maximilian Kraft for this beautiful deck profile. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.